Today's gospel is taken from the 21st chapter of Matthew. The chief priests and the elders were fearful of Jesus' authority. They approached him in the temple after he drove out the merchants and questioned him, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" Seeing so many people following Jesus made them nervous and made them feel they were losing control over the people. Jesus shows his independence and confidence by saying, "I shall ask you one question, and if you answer it for me, then I shall tell you by what authority I do these things." Where was John's baptism from? Was it of heavenly or human origin? I love to read how confident my Jesus was about what he was teaching, and how he responded so well to the naysayers. Jesus knew this would put them in a dilemma, because the people saw John as a prophet. They couldn't risk saying the baptism of John came from heaven or from God, and it was just as risky to say John's baptism was of human origin. They could not answer Jesus' question without losing control, so they simply answered, "We do not know." When we hear the word authority, we usually think of the power to give orders or make decisions. But the exercise of general authority is not to control or to keep people in line. It is to be an agent in releasing the potential that is in people. Jesus knows the potential in all of us, and he has authority over us all. There are rules that we must follow in order to enter the kingdom. Take a look at the 10 Commandments. The commandments came from God to give us direction in life. If we stray from these commandments, from his authority, we are straying from God's potential for us. What about doing God's works here on earth? How are you living out your baptism? Just like Jesus, Father Jerry knows the potential in each one of us. His vision and mission this past year was for us to gain knowledge and authority over our own lives. Each month, he gave us a word to reflect on. Father Jerry led us in examining ourselves and taking control over what we are discontent with. We can continue to use those words. Today we celebrate the feast day of St. John of the Cross. I feel it is important for me to recognize him. St. John of the Cross lived a very poor and simple life, but he always wanted to help others and do God's will. St. John heard the calling to serve God in an order and to bring the ancient perfection of that order back again. He joined the Carmelites and obtained permission to follow the original, stricter rule. St. John helped Teresa of Avila establish a monastery of priors who lived out the primitive rule of the order. He traveled around Spain, reforming and establishing monasteries. Many Carmelite priors disagreed with this, saying the orders were too strict. When St. John wouldn't listen to their authority, he was kidnapped and kept in a dark cell for nearly 9 months. Even through his darkest, coldest, and loneliest days, St. John saw God and kept his faith. St. John knew what authority he was to listen to. God brought John his greatest joy in that tiny cell. He became a compassionate, mystical poet. When we find ourselves in dark times too, we have to believe that God is there with us. When it seems like everyone is against you and there is no escape from whatever is trapping you, look to St. John for strength and encouragement. Remember that just as God was with him, he is also always with you. Through prayer and faith, our Lord can get us through anything. Have a blessed Monday.